Kia ora whānau, and welcome to another episode of Get a Job and Get Healthy with Costas Enterprises. I apologise for it being a little bit late and overdue. I am your host, as always, Alex Costas, and as the title sort of suggests, this is going to be another update on MetaMasks, as well as an update on the protests, which is just funny. For those that don't know, we in New Zealand have just recently passed 13,000 cases a day in New Zealand for Omicron. So it's getting pretty scary out there. We basically, in 4 days, we've doubled each total, apart from today. Today was about 1,000 up from what we got late yesterday. So yeah, it's all getting a bit much and stuff, but I thought I'd talk about also some of the things that are going on with the protest, which I found just stupid and funny. But I thought I had to share just because, if you're like me, you like a little bit of a laugh at times, and some of the shit that's going on is very funny. But first we'll talk about MetaMasks. If you want to get in on MetaMasks, now is the time. Join the Discord. They are doing a relaunch. So instead of the 10,000 masks that they had before, they have reduced it to 6,666 masks that are available. And they are doing a whitelist spot at the moment. So they're basically doing a complete relaunch and rebranding without officially rebranding. So they've re-updated the roadblock. There's going to be a lot more emphasis on passive income and also integration with other metaverses. So quite cool things. You can find them through Discord, through Instagram at MetaMasks NFT, I believe it is, on Instagram. That's the best way to get in touch with them, I believe. They're also on Twitter. I think it's the same for Twitter. Join the Discord, and it's a really, really good community, especially if you are sort of based in New Zealand or Australia. The guys that are running it, as I've said before, are Australian, so it's definitely it does have a little bit of an Aussie feel. But that said, they've got members from all over the countries, all over the world. It's quite cool, and yeah, there's a really, really good bunch of people there. If you do join, go to the Unmasked section and you can find out myself, the Kiwi Don. You'll actually see a photo of me, and I also put a little bit of a spiel about myself as well, which they acknowledged. I've talked before about the community and how good it is and what they plan and what they're looking at. So yeah, I do think now is the best time for people to get in. I do think this will, I know they all say we're going to the moon, like Elon Musk styles. I hope we go to the moon, but being realistic, I do see this as more passive income. They have updated their things as well. If you can mint 2, you will get a third free, and an airdropped 3D one as well, which is quite cool. And I just find that they like recognising the older people. Like, I only have one, and they are still recognising us in the chat. They're recognising us. They're thanking us for sticking with them. Like, the product should have launched over a month ago, so to still be sticking with them when this sort of thing is going on, it's you're in for the long haul. That's the whole point of these particular NFTs. But yeah, really, 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 really happy with them. So just want to give a big shout out to them. Hopefully everyone can join if they want to. Get in there quick. There's about 30,000 members in the Discord. They did have 110,000, but it turns out some of them were bots. So they did a clean sweep of all the bots. So now we've got about 30,000 sitting there on the Discord that aren't bots. And yeah, I just think that everyone should, if you are looking at getting into NFT space, hopefully they're not going to be too expensive. As I've talked about before, I'm already getting airdropped 2 extra. We're basically getting airdropped another NFT plus our 3D modeled NFT, which I think is quite cool. If you are able to sort of mint about 5 NFTs, which is about, let's be real, about $1,000, probably more with the gas, then they will give you a physical framed NFT, which is quite cool. So what happens is basically they've partnered with this group that have digital frames but the actual physical digital frames, and they will display your NFT, which I think is quite a cool idea. Now, if I had the money, I would definitely be doing that, because, you know, that's something geeky that I would absolutely love. But, of course, I don't have the money for that just yet. I did also want to touch on the share markets. Like, I know a lot of people are getting a bit scared because the share market have been going down recently. Specifically, the American shares have been quite low. They're just starting to pick up over the last 2 days. I know that my investment went from about a $300 to $400 profit to minus $18 and then minus $80 within the span of about 3 days, which was very, very scary. But at the same time, I trust the process. I trust, you know, people like what Warren Buffett says when he says, like, you know, you've got to ride these highs and lows, not just sell just because you think you got to get out. And that's sort of the same thing with NFTs. A lot of people sort of, they buy the NFT, they want to flip it straight away, they don't want to hold on to it, and it's like they're not actually understanding the premise of an investment. That's why I like the MetaMasks, because they have sort of gone with, like, you know, if you're a holder, you're a holder. Like, you know, you are actually going to get something better out of that. So yeah, to me, that's a really, really smart idea, and it sort of aligns with what I want to do now with more of my my investing, which is, you know, hold it for the long term, not just go quick hit, quick hit. While it would be lovely to go quick hit, at the same time, I'm not stupid, and I realise that, you know, I do want to retire young, retire rich. Now, I'm not exactly young, I turned 40 this year, but at the same time, that's still not 65. So, you know, I'm going to keep going with it and keep doing what I can, and, you know, maximising my savings, maximise my investments, and look at other investments I can do. One of the other things that I'm looking at doing as well is becoming a tutor. Now, there is an app that you can download called Camely. Now, you can't actually do this on the Camely app itself. You have to do it with a working desktop. But what it basically is without needing an actual English teaching degree or any degree of any kind, you can actually teach or have a conversation with people overseas, usually, from where you are, and you will get paid. Like, it's not much, it's like 10 cents an hour US, but you get, you know, you can get spotlighted for an hour. So you basically, from what they've said, you basically turn yourself into a call center worker, which I've done the call center work. I know it's, you know, a lot of people don't like it. I don't mind it. I used to do it for about 5 years, so I know I've got the intestinal fortitude to do it. And realistically, if there wasn't such a distance between where I was versus, you know, where I was living at the time, I probably would have still been there. The people were good. The work was okay. I mean, was it fun? Yeah, it was fun. Of course it was. You're always going to have fun clients and stuff. But at the same time, yeah, I think went really well. But yeah, so this Camely sort of thing that you can do means you basically put it. You know, I can put 2 days out of my 2 hours out of my time at home. Probably about, you know, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night when no one's on the internet, and I can go through that and do the Camely tutoring, which, you know, it's literally just having a conversation with people. Because of my time working where I've previously worked with international languages, I have a knack at knowing to slow down and, you know, control my voice, and also, you know, be empathetic, but also try to prompt them and understand what the people are saying as well. So yeah, I think it's a really, really cool little idea as well. So now on to the big one, the protesters. For those that have been following, if you haven't already, you might know about the protests going on in Canada. There's also some protests in Wellington against the anti-mandates. These people are basically trying to say that the government is taking away their rights, yada, 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 the vaccine isn't there. And the problem is all the conspiracy theorist people have done this. Now, for those that don't know, these people, there's about 1 to 2,000 that have occupied Parliament, which is our government buildings. We have Parliament grounds, and they've actually camped out there. They are all unvaccinated. They are all not wearing masks. They are basically look like they're having a bit of a party for the most part. They call everyone sheets. They're getting quite abusive, to the point where they almost ran a car into some cops that were trying to keep the peace. They've been throwing human feces at cops as well as other people, shouting abuse at people, considering this is supposed to be a peaceful, and I'm using air quotes of course, peaceful protest. And, you know, we've seen some funny things pop up with this. You know, we've got one lady that was on the news, on nationwide television, saying basically that she's divorcing her husband because he wants to get the vaccine. She goes, he's going to die. He's going to get radio waves. She wants nothing to do with him. So we all had a laugh at that. But now things are getting a bit stupid. Now, I've previously talked about my rant, how I don't like how these, you know, I am all in favour of people wanting to protest. Like, if you want to protest, that is your right. No one can take that away from you. That's literally freedom of speech. That is what we fight for. That's what our grandparents died for. Like, you know, I am all for that. Like, it is your right to protest. What I do not appreciate is when people try to force that protest on you, and they will treat you differently because you are not that way. Now, for those that don't know, there is a lot of talk about what is going on at these protests. There are a lot of Indigenous people, or Māori, for those that aren't in New Zealand, that are at these protests. And from what it's sounding like, and bear in mind that I am getting a lot of my sort of information from live streams from the protest on TikTok when they are talking, and it kind of appears that Māori have been sort of suggested to come to these things and are trying to call the place now a marae. It's a public place. They can't actually do that. Even the iwi have said that they don't do this. The iwi are the people that would effectively own the land back in the times before they were sort of bought out, and they are the tribe of Māori. And they've turned around and said, no, this isn't a marae. But what's happening now is it sounds like all of this, you know, anti-mandate and anti-COVID and all that stuff is actually coming from white supremacists. And, you know, there are a lot of Māori creators on TikTok that are basically very, very upset, saying, you guys are basically being, you know, these people would not stand for you normally. In fact, they're against you. Why are you standing with them now? Because, you know, the whole mandate is that you can't go out unless you get vaccinated. You know, it's being forced upon you. Well, it's like, you know, it is your choice not to do that. So that's one thing. But the funny thing that I did want to mention, which just happened today, is apparently Wellington is starting to run out of tinfoil. Because for some fucked up reason, the protesters, or at least some of them, are putting tinfoil hats on to stop from, and I cannot make this up, apparently electronic magnetic rays, EMRs, radioactive rays that are coming through and penetrating the skull. There are people with tinfoil hats believing this. These are the same people that think that they are fighting for our freedoms. That is literally the tagline. We're fighting for your freedoms. I'm sorry. No, you're not. You're fighting to be a complete idiot, in my view. Now, if you don't want to get vaccinated, I know I said this last time, if you don't want to get vaccinated, that's your choice. That's, you know, completely your prerogative. If you want to feel that way, if it's because of your religious beliefs, if it's because of your own personal mandate, I understand. I don't want to be near you because I'd be afraid that I would contract something that you probably do have. You may be fine. You may not provide the same symptoms as other people. And you know what? You may be lucky. But because of, you know, my health and also my mother's health, I am very much at risk. So, yeah, I have no problems with people protesting and having that feeling like they have to, they feel like their freedoms are taken away. Well, no, your choice is that. However, that is your prerogative. You're wanting to think that. You can think that. What I don't appreciate is, as I said before, like a lot of these people are bringing their children into the protest, and they've been camping there for now about 15 days, 16 days. So you can tell it's becoming more like, instead of a protest, it's more like a place for them to, to sleep with no rent, basically. And the things that they're doing, like they're drawing on our national monuments swastikas, claiming that Jacinda, our lovely Prime Minister, is actually, she's akin to Adolf, which I was like, wait, so the people that are saying this are white supremacists. Don't they actually, worship Adolf? I thought that was the whole point of neo-Nazis, so there's a whole lot of fucking weird shit going on at the moment. Let's just be completely open and honest and real. And I do apologise if you are listening and you are offended by what I'm saying and offended by my swearing in this, but when I get passionate about this stuff, that is what happens. I say it verbally, and I am not happy with what is going on. It is not safe to be in my city now, specifically close to where I actually work. So, as you can imagine, I'm about one street over from where all of this is happening. And, it's like I'm now restricting my time going into the office because of these idiots that are, they're saying they're fighting for our freedoms, but they're not giving the freedoms to the people that choose to get the vaccine, to choose to get the mandate. They are trying to push their agenda onto you. Now, I, as I said, am fine with people protesting. I'm fine with you having your own opinion. But when you start to put that opinion on someone else, I'm sorry, no, that is not protesting anymore. That is just being a dick. That is just, pushing your own agenda onto other people, which is, the same shit as dictatorship. And how is that defending your freedoms when you are not giving the freedoms to other people? It's. I'm going to quote a great person, and shout out to anybody that can, shout out to anybody that can actually give me where this quote is from. But freedom is the right of all sentient beings. Yes, that was an Optimus Prime Pro. Yes, I know I'm quoting a cartoon, but hey, let's be real. They are allowed to, be free and protest and do all that sort of stuff. But, we are allowed to be free as well. And our freedom does not involve you pushing your agenda onto me. I fully respect you having your own agenda, but when it harms my safety, the safety of my whānau, the safety of my friends, because you don't want to do or you want to impose that negativity onto everyone, then I'm sorry, no, you're not being free at all. You're just straight being an asshole, and you're not thinking about the people that you say you are apparently representing, which is the freedom of everybody in our country. So, yeah, as you can imagine, I've got a little bit, angry, and I apologise for that coming across. But yeah, it's very sad that we have to live in this area now, and this sort of thing is happening. And that it's been going for so long. 3 weeks is a long time. 4 weeks is even longer. These people are camping out on the grounds. They're throwing human feces at people. What the fuck? That's not a peaceful protest. Yeah, it's just if I go down that end of town, I don't feel safe. You see the people that are there, they are not, they've got their own security that are putting people away. They told that the media were allowed to come in. They were pushing the media away, and there's live streams on it. You can have a look at them on TikTok. You can have a look on Stuff website and stuff. So it's really a shame that they are trying to push this agenda, saying that it's a peaceful protest, it's freedom, yada yada yada. But it's actually completely opposite. And even though I'm not Māori, I feel bad for the Māori that have been captured into this, thinking that, they are being pushed into this by people that effectively don't respect them, aren't going to stand by them. Like, that sort of shit is so sad. And then you've got, a lot of other Māori people that are like, hey, tangata whenua, get out of it. Like, whakapapa, get out of it. Whānau, get out of it. So it's like, it's so sad to see people getting manipulated into this for not their agendas, but for the agendas of other people who have no respect for them. Like, that pisses me off. I'm sorry. And if that doesn't piss you off a little bit, like, if this was the opposite side and you were on that side, like, what would you feel? I think I better stop there because it's riling me up a little bit too angry, and I don't want this to go for too long. But yeah, so that's my rant. Thank you for listening, and if you are still listening, I apologise in advance if you found that at all offensive. I do feel very strongly that, what is happening, like, just with the outbreak of Omicron in New Zealand, given that we went from sort of, 200 cases to 1,000, 1,200 to 3,000 to 6,000 to 12,000, and now we're 13,000 a day later. Like, this protest is a super spreader event. 2,000 people all stuck close together, not vaccinated, not masked, and there's kids there. Like, I'm sorry, I said this last time and I'll say it again, and sorry, I keep wanting to wrap it up, but this is what irks me up. Like, you can have your own opinion. I fully agree you to have your own opinion. But if you have children that are under the age of 18 and they cannot make their decision themselves without the informed information, then why would you take them to a place where they could potentially get caught or potentially get sick? Now, you may think that the COVID doesn't do anything to you, but you can be damn sure that it is killing people. It is making people sick. Like, it is not something that I think, people need to take lightly. And it's so sad that isn't happening. But yeah, that's enough for now. I apologise in advance. I do hope you stick around. If you are still listening to me, you can contact me via my email, doncostas@gmail.com. I'd like to hear your views on this sort of thing. Like, this sort of thing is important to me. I think our representation needs to be said about this sort of thing. And you know what? You may side with the protesters. I welcome your comments as well. At the end of the day, as I said, it is your right to have that comment. I will not get into an argument with you if you do have those rights. But at the same time, like, if you have a different point of view that I don't know, I'm all ears. I'm all willing to sort of hear your argument. I personally don't agree, and that is my opinion. So it's the way that we are with the world, peoples. But you can also find me on Instagram and Twitter at the Kiwi Don. As I said, go to at MetaMasks NFT, METAMASKS NFT. If you want to join the Discord and all that sort of stuff, go to their Instagram, go to their Twitter, sign up, get in before you can't, because they're opening up the whitelist to pre-sales, and then they're going to go, and these will go. They're starting to reveal a couple of the masks that are out there. It's making it look very cool. It's generating a lot of people. They are working with certain influencers. If I was you, I would get in there quick. At least get on the list. If you can't afford it, you can't afford it. But at the same time, get on the white list. See what it's about. See if you're invested in the project like I am. Then go for it. But yeah, it's up to you. Other than that, have a great day, people. As I do say, I do apologise for this being late. As always, I love you all. No matter where you're from, what you do, and what your opinion is. Like, I will still love you for listening, for being there, for listening to me. And as always, good luck.